everyone, and welcome to Wednesdays with Wallis Psychic Medium. I'm your host, and you're going to have the most amazing time today. I'm just going to have a little look up there at the clock on my computer just to make sure that I don't run too much over time. I always run a bit over time, but not too much because I don't want you coming back and saying, I love you, but, I'm tired of looking at you, or you've said too much, or you're on there too long. Pardon me. So, today is going to be very, very interesting. I'm going to be doing some of my one card readings for people. Last week, I also asked you to do a little exercise around your life path destiny number, your main number. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I'm going to pick out a number, as I will do each week until we've gotten through the numbers. And then I'm going to, maybe we'll look at teaching something else. We might do that via a webinar or something. Would you like that? If you'd like me to do a webinar on numerology, maybe a 3-hour or something like that for a reasonable amount of money for you, put it in the comments and let me know if that's something that would be of interest to you, because quite frankly, I don't want to just put things together, that you're not interested in, because after all, you're following me and I'm really enjoying my time with you, but I want to make that worthwhile for you and I want you to enjoy it. So if we'll call it extra curriculum activities, if you would like me to be doing, say, some short webinars, say for you got people in the US, so to speak, and on that time zone, we could do it so it was maybe in the early evening or something, your time, in the morning my time, different day, but in the morning my time and in the evening your time, so you could join in. But all of those things, give me some comments on, and then I'll know what you would like and what you might want me to do, or things you might like me to talk about. They have been at me this week about the soul. And they know, of course, they channel to me those soul wisdom oracle cards, but they've been at me this week about coming back to talking about the soul. And I'm going to do that before I do the readings and the numbers and, those sorts of things. But a little bit of shameless self-promotion before I begin. If you would like individual readings from me, you just go to boldnotold.com.au. That's the Aussie part of it, the AU. So it's .com.au. And in there, you can click on for a reading, and you can book for a reading with me for a half an hour or an hour, up to you, whatever it is that you want. I don't do them any less than a half an hour because I don't think that you get any value out of it if you want something, shorter. So half an hour or an hour readings. Hit the subscribe button, because the subscribe button is very important to me and building the channel and, pardon me, making the channel pay for itself and in time to come, pay for the time I spend on it and the things that I do. And we all want that, don't we? Well, that's a fair exchange, and spirit, that's part of the deal, we'll call it. That's part of what we do and who we are and what goes on. We should expect an exchange of energy. Money's an energy, and so we should expect an exchange of that. So click on the link. And the other day, it was interesting. I was spending a bit of time with a couple of people, and I don't know why, but they thought that if you subscribe, that it costs you. Well, it doesn't. Of course, it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. You just hit the button and you're a subscriber and you can watch me each week. Not at all. Any weeks that you want to, you can, have a break from me and go back over the videos and look at them other times. So you can do whatever you want in that respect. Okay, while I'm talking about this, I'm going to be shuffling my Soul Wisdom Oracle cards and see if anything comes out while I'm talking. But I'd like to visit, and it dovetails in with this area of numerology that I've been introducing to you. And I love numerology. I think numbers is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I get lots of information through that because numbers are energy and they talk a lot to us and they can tell us a lot and they can guide us in our lives and give us a better life than what we are, instead of feeling like we've got one foot nailed to the ground and we're walking around, blind. If we actually understood or understand our numbers, we won't be wandering around in such a daze. I hope that you believe that, because it's absolutely true. Our numbers are an amazing guide for us, an amazing guideline. But coming back to the soul, I want to talk about the soul, and they've been at me this week for me to explain this to you. And I, of course, have little, dialogue with them about, well, is that right? Would you understand what I'm getting at, or will you know what I'm talking about? And of course, that's silly, because of course you do. That's why you're here. You're here to learn and you're here to understand things. And if you don't understand them off the bat, you'll go away and think about it. And something else will come up for you in another way, which will, give you some confirmation on what's been said. So what they're saying to me is that, and especially in today's world, I think this is especially true for now. What they're saying to me is that they want you to understand that you came as a great soul. Okay? You came as a great soul. I'm giving you some silence because I want you to get it. And I'll explain this to you in a minute because I think it's very important. And it's not all about you as a personality, because you won't be remembered for your personality. You'll be remembered as a great soul, what you brought. You know the saying, you won't be remembered. People may not even remember your name or what you said or whatever, but they'll remember how you made them feel. That's the soul part of you that's important. So that's really important, because I want you to understand that, because sometimes, and I may have mentioned this before, I'm not sure, but I want you to understand that when we lose someone, when someone passes, taken from us, so to speak, we feel a bit early, or, we weren't ready to let them go. Well, we're never ready to let them go. So it's whenever they pass and decide to pass over, and none of us know when that is or what that's about, really, then we tend to pine for the person. We pine for them in ways that translate like this. If Johnny or John, Freddie or Mary or whoever was alive or still alive, they'd be whatever age. If so-and-so was still alive, we would have been married. I heard someone say this recently. We would have been married X amount of years. Well, silly, isn't it? Because they're not and you aren't. So this is all about the personality of the person. It's all around the personality. What I'm getting at is that I'd like you to think about those people as their legacy. What did they leave? What did they bring? Everyone comes as a great soul. So the idea of them coming as a great soul is that they made an impact from the soul. So were they loving, caring, always present to people's hurt? There's an aspect of the soul and the great soul that is their legacy, not the personality. I hope you get that. And that you recognize that. You recognize that the person is remembered as a great soul, not for their, not for the personality. And every soul, all of us, every one of us comes to fill in the gaps. And that's why I really like numerology. I like it because it fills the gaps in on our on the aspects of our soul, because numbers are a vibration. The most Pythagoras was the master of numerology. He was the master. He had a university in the southern part of Italy, and he was a master, Pythagoras, at numbers, and he understood that every number has a vibration, and that vibration moves with the planet and the vibration of the planet. And we're only now really starting to understand what that means, what it means for everything to be energy. We didn't really totally understand that at one time, but we understand it now, don't we? We understand it more and more. And numbers help us fill in the gaps, and we're going to be talking about that as we go on. But today, before I get too far ahead of myself, I want to go through, and I've picked out today, and I just want to turn over a card here. Nothing was thrown out at me, but I just want to turn over a card for everyone around this whole soul deal. Okay? Yes. Okay. The card that I'm pulling out of here, I'll turn it over. Here we go. The card that I'm pulling out of here is this one here, encoded messages. Okay, can you see that? Encoded messages. What does that mean? I think it's a great card. Me having gone on, or them having gone on through me about the soul today, this encoded messages is just that. It's all about what we come with and what's encoded in our DNA, what's encoded in our beingness, what's encoded that the soul brings, because we're all aware that when we pass, the soul goes too. Where you go, your soul goes. Why is that? Because the soul is everlasting. The soul is about the deeper encoded you, your connection to the divine. So your soul lives on, moves on, and all the experiences and all that you came to experience and to have in this lifetime, then that's the soul experiencing the aspects of itself that it needs to master and learn. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit later on. And as I said, if you're interested, I'd like to do a webinar, a workshop on numerology and dovetail it back into this whole area of encoded messages in the soul. It's hard to get it all in this short reading, people doing predictions, people doing all sorts of things. Me, I'm just wanting to give you what, they give me. So before I go into the number that I picked this week, and then I want to do some one-card readings, I want to thank David, who made some comments. Thank you, David. Thank you, thank you. Lisa McInnes, and I love to hear all your news, about your your near-death experience and the things that it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. When I read these comments from you all, I often think, wouldn't it be just wonderful to be round an area, to get together at some time? Maybe in the future we'll do that, but wouldn't it be fabulous? Just making myself a bit more comfy here. Wouldn't it be fabulous if we could just all get together and we could sit around and just share and natter, and I could hear about all your experiences? That would be fabulous. Jackie, you made a comment because I think I did a one-card reading for you. I don't quite remember what that was, but you're welcome. Whatever that was, you're welcome. And S. Nelson, I don't know where all of you come from, or some of you. If I can put a place to it, well, then I can, say something like the gorgeous lady that watches me before she goes to work in Norway or somewhere like that. Thank you. That is just, it's wonderful. When I read all these things, I'm a bit blown away, to tell you the truth. I'm a bit taken back with a lot of it. And Cahill, Kahill, your acronym for Wallis is fabulous. Thank you for that. It really is fabulous. It's very clever. I love it. And of course, Christy, my lovely Christy Cunningham, you're a gem. Love you, Christy. And I will answer your email for you, darling. I've just been a little bit busy and I haven't got around to that. I've got a bit much on my plate at the moment, but I will answer you. I will. And thank you. And I'm very interested in the things that you've been doing. Thank you so much. Okay. First of all, the reading, or the numerology reading that I'm going to do today, is around the number 8. Now, I've got it all written here, so I'm going to just do a little bit of a thing on the ruling number 8. And there were a lot of you, so I've picked out the 8 as the beginning. And just as an interest to you gorgeous number 8s, I'm an 8. So I could really relate to, I could really relate to you, and it'll be very interesting for comments when you give me some comments back, which I'm hoping you do, around the 8, because it sure is, and we sure are, these type of people. We absolutely love, as one of the most important aspects of our life, in my notes here that I've written, independence. We are very, very independent souls. We're independent people, and we love our independence. So we can be very complex people too, us 8s, and we invariably possess great wisdom and strength of character. And the reason for this is the position of the 8, where it sits on the position of the 8 on the soul plane. And if we do a workshop or something, we'll go through all that, and you can look at all sorts of things. It's marvelous stuff. But the 8 sits in the middle, or on the soul plane, and it's the number of wisdom on the soul plane, because it's also in the center of the arrow of activity. That mightn't make much sense to you now, but if your birth date totals a 17, a 26, a 35, or a 44, then you are an 8. So if the first lot of numbers you run along come to those, I don't mean when you break it down and you get maybe a 44, that's a different thing. But if the numbers that you run through, like I showed you last week, and you end up as a 17 or a 26 or a 35 or a 44, then you are a number 8. One of the other really important aspects of an 8 is that we love. We have this capacity to love. And we also, as 8s, have the ability to express it, because not everybody who loves can express that love. And some numbers have a difficulty with that, but not the 8s. So what I've written here is one of the most vital components to successful human relationships is a fluent expression of appreciation, itself a vital embodiment of love. So appreciating is an aspect of love, and 8s are very good at that. And it's these two avenues of expression that ruling 8 people find the greatest difficulty in. We're very good at it when we get a bit older and we master it, or we allow ourselves to be master of it, but we can also have great difficulty with it. And so one of our purposes in life as an 8 is to rise above and transcend those limitations. So if you're having trouble with that aspect of yourself, don't feel bad about it. It's part of being an 8, and it needs a bit of work, okay? And the growth in that direction will develop, and you'll see it as being not limiting your what's the word I'm looking for? Your independence. You know, sometimes we as 8s, we're a bit worried that, you know, all of that will, you know, sort of crowd us in and we won't have our independence. But we can, and we do. And we realise that the improved relationships around us strengthen the confidence in other people as well. And in turn, this creates a greater personal security and improved happiness in our lives. There are some negative tendencies. The negative tendencies are things like, let me go back to what I've written here. Okay. The negative tendencies are being fiercely independent, and so you zealously guard it, which is not a good thing, and you can be a bit insecure. That's what I'm writing here. There's a lot of stuff I've written, but you can be very, very insecure if you get into, you know, zealously guarding your independence. So don't do that, because your deeper feelings are important. They're important to express, and they're important to others around you. And that's the growth that you'll develop will give you overall wisdom, and you'll feel better about yourself and better about other people. And 8s like to travel. They love to travel. And the most suitable vocations for 8s are normally at the head of large business undertakings, senior executives. They have a sound understanding of finance. They're attracted to banking, finance, stockbroking, and those sorts of things. They'll also be found as travel executives, because they do like to travel and see things, and that's part of their growth too. So it's a necessary aspect of their personality or themselves as they grow. Aircraft and ships captains, teachers and nurses to children or the elderly, and animals, working with animals or as a senior figure of a humane organisation. Why? Because they have a tendency to mask their natural feelings, and many become successful at professional acting as well. But they eights love to take people, they care about people, the underdogs and things like that. Highly dependable, self-confident, sometimes very undemonstrative, commercially oriented and deeply concerned for the sick and the helpless. There's a little bit of caveat around that, but we won't talk about that now. I'm going to just move through my notes here and just go down to Joan Collins is an 8, Elizabeth Taylor is an 8, Boris Yeltsin was an 8, Nelson Mandela was an 8, Paul Newman is an 8, Liza Minnelli and Jane Fonda. All these people are 8s. It's a powerful mind number implying a constant responsibility among those who have it. They are far more suited to art than to science, to humanitarian rather than to other types of pursuits. And many of our cultural leaders and serious actors are found with this ruling number, all of whom are idealists at heart. So that's a number 8 this week. And I'm really, really glad to have shared that with you. Next week, I will share another number with you, something totally different. And there are, I have to tell you, a lot of Master Soul numbers that came up in the comments. So we'll also be looking at those. Okay, just some couple of quick readings for you. Connie, I'm going to do a 1-card reading for you, darling. So, and don't feel you missed out if you didn't get your number. I picked an 8 because I'm very, very keen on sharing that, because there were a lot of 8s that came up in the reading. As other numbers, 7s came up. We'll talk about the 7s. They're interesting. A lot of numbers. 3s are interesting numbers. I have a number of people around me who were 3s, and they're very interesting. And I also have, and I watch closely those people around me who are Master Soul numbers like 11s and 22s. I also watch those people to see how they fulfill their life path destiny as those numbers. And sometimes my father was a 22 and he missed the plot totally. He didn't even get anywhere near it. Okay, knowledge is the card that's come up for you, Connie. You are in pursuit of knowledge, big time. Knowledge. Now, what I'm getting for you is that knowledge flew in there. What I got was a picture of this. I got a picture of this great big university, huge big university, grounds of knowledge. You love it. A bit like me, you're insatiable. You have this thing about knowledge. Learn, knowledge. Another certificate, another thing. If you haven't got them already, you want them. But I sort of feel that perhaps you have some, but you want more. You want to expand on that. You want more knowledge. What am I getting? I'm getting, Connie, you're not enough. You don't feel you're enough, love. And so you're in pursuit of knowledge. And I'm not seeing this as this esoteric knowledge. I'm seeing it as knowledge for the sake of if you know more, you'll feel better about yourself. And if you know more, other people will feel different about you. Is that right, Connie? That's what I'm getting. So some feedback on that, it'd be great, darling. But you and I both know that's not the answer. The answer isn't in the knowledge. It isn't in the certificates on the wall. It isn't in putting all the letters after your name. It isn't in all that. And I can promise you it isn't, because I know for a fact it isn't, because that was my pursuit until I stopped doing it. And then I also didn't bother about the letters after my name either, because they don't mean anything. And I don't want that to sound like, pardon me, I don't want it to sound like I'm downgrading it all. I'm not, darling. I'm just simply saying it's not who you truly are. It's not the real you. Can I say that? Okay. That's all I'm going to say about it, honey. There is more, but I haven't got time to go into all that. I just want you to be mindful that you're enough. You have it all right now. Now, if you want to pursue those other things for the sake of just interest or whatever else, but don't have the driving factor, is what I'm saying. I've done it. I've been there, Dale. Don't have the driving thing that, look at me. You'll just have more if you've got another bit of paper and you've got a bit more under your belt. It's not true. You won't. Okay, Susan, Canada, Ontario. What have I got for you, darling? Now, you said there's been some strange things and some interesting things happening to you lately. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay. These are interesting. I've pulled out 3 cards: fear, the sorcerer, and this card of healing. See that? Healing elixir. Healing. Now, okay. So the strange things going on around you are frightening you. Are you in fear of those things, darling? Susan, you said, stuff going on around you and it's upsetting you a bit and making you a bit fearful. Well, don't be that. Don't be fearful about things. It's very, very interesting what we choose and what we do about the whole fear thing. I don't want you to get into the whole fear thing, all right? Because it really, really is a matter of perspective. It's like when you stand in a room. If I'm standing here, I see what I see in front of me in the room. If I walk to the other side of the room and look back, I see something different. Fears like that. If we change our perspective, we can change this whole overwhelming thing for ourselves around fear. And you have the ability to do that, because the card that came out was the sorcerer. And the sorcerer is a wonderful, wonderful card. What I get when I pull this card out at any given time is somebody who's able to weave magic and able to change things, move things around, a bit like the magician. You're able to weave magic, and it's very, very important that there's an aspect of you, Susan. There's an aspect here. There's something going on around healing. Is this about your healing or somebody else around you? I think it's somebody around you, isn't it? Something's going on around you, all these strange things going on around you. Is there somebody around you that is in need of healing, would like some healing? You would like to be able to do that. You would like to be able to heal them. Is there something going on around that? Feedback. Yep. Give me some feedback, darling. I'd like some feedback. Okay, Robin, I'm going to quickly do a one card reading for you, darling. And all the stuff. Oh, they gave me so much stuff to get through today. How do I get through that in this time? I feel like I'm, all over the shop. They want me to do this, they want me to do that, they want me to say this. Oh, goodness me. They have any understanding of human time? They don't, because time doesn't mean the same to them. Okay, Robin. Pull it out. Yes. Love it. Okay, Robin, the storyteller. Is this you? It is. I know it's you. I know it's you, Robin. I know that this is you, the storyteller, doll. And more. You'd like to do more of that. Do you want to write? Do you want to be doing some writing? Do you want to be telling some stories via your writing? I don't know what I'm getting. Here's what I'm getting. Kids' books. Do you want to be writing? Do you want to be telling some fairy tale, magical, unicorny stories through books? Storyteller. And what I'm hearing, oh, it's in my ear. I can hear it. I can hear you sitting, talking to people, and the way in which you speak to people is always in stories. You're quick to tell a story about something or to bring in a story around things. You're a great storyteller. So I'm feeling that you'd like to do more around the idea of telling stories. Okay, feedback, Robin. Some feedback, darling. I don't mind the feedback. I might be right off the mark there. Probably not, but I might be. So, but I'm happy to get the feedback. Now, for each and every one of you who are tuned in this week, you didn't get your number. If you're not an 8, you didn't get your number, but I'm going to be doing just as much on all the numbers as the weeks go on. So you, whatever number you are, you'll be getting yours. Now, feedback on the whole thing, the idea of maybe a workshop for numerology or something like that, or something around what I've been talking about. Give me some feedback on that, what you'd like to hear, what you'd like to be involved with, what you'd like me to say. I will be going back to giving some predictions probably over the next week, probably next week when I come back to the readings. I'll come back to doing some predictions around some things that have been at me over some things. But like I said, have a look at it. I can't get it all done in the time that they give me. If I was on their time schedule, it might be a bit different. Thank you so much, each and every one of you, for all of your comments, for all of the things that you give me and say, and all the feedback that you give me, all the wonderful comments. I love each and every one of you. I'm here for you. I'm for you. And so keep watching, keep giving me feedback, keep being around in my space, and together we're going to do great things. Enjoy your week. Thank you for joining me on Wallis Wednesdays with Wallis, Psychic Medium. Can't even get the bloody words out now. I love you. And I'll talk to you next time, and I'll talk to you next week. Join me again and I'll get your number done. Perhaps you'll be the next cab off the rank. Mwah. Bye for now.